Welcome back to another prep series video. I feel like I've said that a million times now, but as always, doing another weekly recap. We'll be doing a weekly recap for 6 weeks out, and then also setting the standards for 5 weeks out. If this is one of your first videos in the prep series, we'll go ahead and throw up a card to the full playlist for you guys to kind of reference. But today will be an exciting video, be going over the diet, activity, and training as always, and then we will get in and reveal my full show list and kind of give you my thoughts there as we kind of structure the season going forward. So first and foremost though, gonna just touch on training very lightly in this video. Don't want to make it too long with the going over the shows and also talking on diet and activity. But for the most part, training is hanging in there. I won't lie to you. Just training motivation stuff is down a bit in prep at this point, just because low energy, just not a ton of motivation to train. Then also you're not making progress at this point, being 5 weeks out. So it's a little bit demeaning to go in, just kind of hit the same numbers each week, or even falter on matching the numbers that you did the prior week, which I haven't seen a ton. Just seems to be, as I've said multiple times now, in those pressing movements. So pretty brutal there, but for the most part, hanging in there, just doing the same split as we have been all throughout prep with that push-pull lower, a cardio and arms day, and then finishing out the week with an upper and lower day. So that kind of covers things for training. Hopping over to the diet and activity for last week, did make that jump down a couple of hundred calories to the 2650 to 2700 range. Protein came out last week at 238, carbs at 269 grams, and then fat at 76 grams. Calories coming out at 2681. So kind of happy with those numbers. Would love to see protein right at 240, and then have fats probably come back up a couple of grams on average to like 80 or so, just to make sure I'm staying healthy. I tend to run better off of fats, and low carbs don't really bother me if those come down. So making slight adjustments here and there, but overall doing very well nutrition wise, and excited to bring you guys like a full day of eating coming up here soon. Will probably be the next like one-off video and prep we do, so be looking forward to that. For the cardio, as always, just doing the 20 minutes each day on the incline treadmill, setting the incline at 12.5, 3 miles per hour for 20 minutes, come right out to that 200 calories. And then we did see weight come down from the prior week with an average loss of 1.76 pounds. So happy with that. Definitely these last handful of pounds are going to be a lot to dig off. Won't lie to you, just prep is definitely getting to me. Definitely the leanest that I've been, and I'll throw up the posing content for you guys to kind of reference in the background, but definitely the leanest I've ever been at this point. Not super happy with how the posing content came out, just because of the lighting, with how the sun kind of moved, getting up a bit later and getting around to the posing footage, with getting out the leg day to you guys, just running a bit behind. So have some lines in my physique and was just a little bit close to like the railing and stuff. So not my best posing overall, but definitely leanest I've ever been. And just super happy with where we're headed. Just gonna be kind of a dark area to dig into, to be honest, because I don't do well when I'm lean. I do well in the off season putting on tissue, which probably is an advantage overall as you spend more time in the off season, especially as a natural lifter. But really need to hone in and dig and get my ducks in a row, and just stay as calm and relaxed as humanly possible. So I'll kind of shift the posing footage over if we still got some to go through, but gonna touch on the full show list that we're looking for. So first show that we'll be targeting, and I have went ahead, put in my entries and everything, so it's set in stone that we'll be doing it, is the OCB Lone Star Rising, and that will be on August 26th of 2023, just right in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So kind of in my backyard per se. So super excited for that show. Will be the first time competing in the OCB, so be a change there. We'll be doing both the novice and open bodybuilding for that show. I have competed before, just never won in open category or anything, so qualify for the novice. And that'll also give me an opportunity to get a bit more stage time in the show. So it's going to take advantage of kind of having that crossover or doing novice in both open opportunity while I still qualify for it. And then the second show of this season will come 3 weeks later, and that will be the Phoenician Classic through the INBF, WNBF. It is more of like a pro-am setting, so it'll be cool to have some pro divisions there with both bikini and physique having pro athletes, and then also for that show be doing bodybuilding in the amateur division. Really looking forward to traveling to that show, and then also just the whole experience. Heard nothing but good things for the Phoenician Classic and how they run the show. So looking forward to a really good experience there. So that'll be roughly 8 weeks out, or 3 weeks after the OCB Lone Star Rising in Dallas. And then the third show they'll be targeting, and being really targeting 4 total shows, for sure, maybe throw on a 5th depending on how we're doing, but more than likely just stick to those 4. Will be the USBF for the United States Bodybuilding Federation, United States Championship Pro-Am, and that'll be on November 4th in Dallas, Texas, once again. So another local show for me to get some stage time, and then also depending where I'm at and how the shows have went prior, for both the OCB and the WNBF or INBF, will have the opportunity to compete as either a pro or an amateur in that show. If I do have my pro status, it's one of the biggest shows, I'll say, in the US for in terms of turnout, because they do allow athletes from all federations to come and do have some big payouts. So brings a good quality athlete. So it'll really be an opportunity for me to get on stage and see where my physique is at compared to some of the best in the US and beyond, probably, if we have any internationals come for that. And then that kind of takes me in with the whole internationals to the last show of the year. And probably the biggest one will be WNBF or INBF Worlds, and that will be November 18th and 19th in Seattle, Washington. The really cool part about Worlds is just brings a ton of athletes from all over. And the WNBF always has a huge showing internationally. So it'd be really cool to stand on stage with international athletes and kind of see where I'm at, get a good idea of the progress that we've made. And that will be, this Saturday will be for the amateurs. So depending on how the Phoenician Classic goes, could be competing as both as either an amateur on the Saturday or as a pro on the 19th. And then also for Worlds, if you do come in as an amateur on the 18th and do well, I forget if it's winning your class or winning the overall in the amateur, you do have the opportunity to qualify to be a pro and then compete that following Sunday, the 19th. So that's kind of what we'll be targeting for this season. And just to give you guys like a timeline of everything, because I know I had mentioned for the first 2 shows, but not the last 2. So we'll be 5 weeks out from the OCB Lone Star Rising, and then 8 weeks out from the Phoenician Classic. And this will be as of Saturday, the 22nd give or take, of July, just for reference. And then the last 2 shows of the year will come in November, so have quite a few weeks in between. But November 4th will be the USBF, US Pro-Am, and that'll be 15 weeks out. And then we'll have Worlds in Seattle on November 18th and 19th at 17 weeks out. So still essentially just going to hone in on these first few shows, continue dieting through, and then we'll kind of reassess the physique, the fatigue level, and everything after the Phoenician Classic, and get a more set timeline to how we'll kind of navigate having essentially like 7 or 8 weeks in between those 2 shows, which definitely, it's not going to be the easiest thing, but looking forward to it, and hoping to bring my best physique to date at those last 2 shows and really dig out as much as we can conditioning wise, because I think size wise I'll be able to stand with the big boys. It's just whether I can get to the same condition, and if my muscle maturity, being a younger guy, will stand up to some of the more mature athletes. But we're excited for the season as a whole. Will be a really good test with both competing as an amateur and then having the ability to step on some of the biggest pro stages in the world if we qualify, or get to compete against some of the best amateurs in the world at Worlds in Seattle. So overall, just looking forward to the season as a whole. If you guys do have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely leave those down below. And just thank you so much for our continued support on this prep series. Definitely taken a lot out of me, but gonna just really dig in these last handful of weeks before the first couple of shows and try and bring the best content to you guys I can. So have a great rest of your day and stay fed.